Excuse me. All right. I think we're gonna do something different this stream. I think I'm gonna implement some middleware to basically allow me to implement some access control. You know, like basic things like detect user accounts, detect roles, you know, just to be able to manage who gets access to what APIs. So I think we're gonna probably do a little research. And we're gonna do a little research with Actix. Thanks for the follow, Deuce. Lisu. But yeah, I think that's where we're gonna start off. I need to understand how they handle their middlewares. I've only implemented one currently for the basic bearer token authentication, but I kind of need to understand what else I could do with it. Thanks for the follow, Cargo. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, so it looks like we could do some pre-process requests, post-process responses, modify application state, and implement some external services like logging and sessions. So this is probably a good start, just to understand how the inner workings work a little bit. Alright, so this is a basic middleware. It provides the service request and it provides the response body, which I guess gets pushed onward towards the actual route itself. So I'm assuming I could pass my own data. If I can, that would be great. How would that work though? Type of the next service, okay. The type of the body response. Okay. Oh, that's like a bare minimal action. And they just pass the response. Service.call, pass a request, map the request, grab the response, and forward the response. It's a pretty simple life cycle. All right, so I think this is a good start. I want to see an example of this guy. Logger. Okay, it's a standard middleware provided by Actix Web. Let me check out the insides of that. So we have this here. So it's web middleware. All right. Middleware logger. All right. And they're just using the default instantiation of it, which will be defaults right here. Oh, that's bare minimum. Let's go back to that. Format new. Gotcha. Okay. I feel like there might be another default though. Okay. What exactly is available in middlewares? So we got the logger, error handler, default headers. Condition new. I'm actually creating a header totally different than what they're doing here. That's pretty cool. I should have used this method instead. New forbidden. All right, let's check out one of the previous examples first before I jump in and start writing something. They say this is simple. I'm wondering if this is a requirement. Yeah, that's super cool. I should have used that. Actually, let me use that. Let me try that out. That should be in our main. Yeah, we're kind of adding it here and then just reapplying it. But here, they're just wrapping it. Okay, I think I recall why I did this. It's because this was the only option available to add it here. Because if I were to add it a layer lower, I would have to add it to multiple routes rather than just the top level. All right, so we'll leave that. I'm gonna create an interceptor. I think it's suited here. I want to see if we could just implement something simple, which would be async. For now, we're just gonna create that and keep it standard. I don't need that. I just need the service request based off this example. Yeah, their service response. No, request. Request is what we need. We don't want to alter the response. We want to validate the request. Res response mute. Request and service. Alright, so let's try this out. And it should do the same thing, results in forwarding the service request. It's kind of mimicking our validator. See, I should be able to set some state here because we're not doing anything with our response, and our response has our claims, which we kind of need to validate the user and check whether they have access. General middleware is a type that implements the service trait and transform trait. Each method in the trait has a default implementation. Each method can return a result immediately or a future object. Following demonstrates creating a simple middleware, blah blah blah. We already read this. This is a service request and this is a service request as well. A simple use case, you can use a function wrap. I mean, it's tempting, but I mean, we won't really know until we just implement something, you know? So let's just start off by sending in this. And add this to our login. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Controller account. We'll add it here. Actually, we'll add it to our account list. It should happen right after this guy. Authorization. Access control. But I don't think we need to provide that. This should be valid, hopefully. So the reason why that works is we're wrapping it with this guy, and this is basically providing us with, yeah, okay. So we're gonna have to create an actual middleware, which I'll just do here. Say hi, middleware, say hi. Initialization, factory gets called, next service in the chain as parameter. Middleware calls method gets called. Got you. This is to transform data. I don't think we want to transform just yet, but we want this guy right here. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I'm literally just gonna copy this and just change things around. Let's also grab this. I won't need that, but let's change this around. Service, say hi. This is gonna be access control. All right. Yeah, we're not using this, so we kind of need this to wrap it. Am I using that? Huh. Guess we have to install that. mean, it's a direct library from them, so it must be a requirement to add that functionality. We'll put it right underneath this, I guess. We're not transforming anything here, so I'm gonna remove this guy. Okay. And then within their example, they're I'm assuming I could just reference it that way. All right. Let's try this again. I don't think I have that though. This is not valid. All right, let's go back to this. Just want to make sure. Check this guy out. using the defaults. I need a better explanation of this because that's not making any sense. Okay, an asynchronous operation for request and response. Model request response interaction receives requests and returning replies. You can think about a service as a function with one argument. Not helpful. I'm doing that. I'm calling it. Start your request, and then we're responding back with the response. Got you. I think I get it. Alright, fine. We'll add this guy. You want the world for your own. You want maximum profit. Alright, so we're gonna have to set this guy up here. That's not valid either. So with that said, I should have test at me.co. Oh, forgot to turn on my Dockers. Alright, so we're retrieving a list. So our middleware is working. So we're off to a good start. Now let's see what type of data gets passed through it and see how we could set up some access control and prevent people from accessing APIs they shouldn't have access to. Okay, so we're getting this, we're getting the path, and this is the response, and then we're pushing it forward. Okay. And they're adding it to the heap here. Service. Okay, let's just copy some code we have here. We should have access to this guy right here. Really? I'm gonna assume I could access the same header object as if I were to access it through a route. Sure, we need this here. And then I'm just gonna debug it right here. I mean, I should be able to put this in some sort of states that's accessible to all the controllers. Where are we? put this over here so it's visible. Refresh that. Looks good to me. You're back. Thanks, they're great leads. They're great leads. I think I butchered your name. Alright, so we're getting that object. Now it's to figure out how we could use this within our other contexts, because I believe Rust will take it out, we'll drop it after we finish using it. So we need to make sure it could be borrowed after the fact. Gotcha. Of course. Alright, so if we could do this, we should be able to bring it downwards. The only thing is I don't want to keep instantiating or having to check it. This does take an error. We're passing it true. Okay. This is a response. I'm assuming we could call our error here by simply saying error, but we're gonna have to pass an error type. Let's test that out. And I think, you know what actually has a good example? The logger middleware. It was capital E. Right here. But what is this? What type of error is this? So far I have this widget. This is one of the first features I'll probably release with it. There's other features that I am implemented, which I will continue to implement on stream. But this is one that I've recently finished, and it's basically a feedback widget that will live on the individual's website or the company's website. And essentially, someone could go to that company's website and click either text-based feedback option or the video feedback option. And if they go through the route of the video feedback option, they'll be presented with a little nice user experience, which allows them to record themselves. Since I'm using my camera, I have to go a few steps further. Let me make sure I allow. Refresh that. Right, they go here. I just have to do this because my device is being in use, but once you have an active device set up, it will automatically either auto-select it, or you would have to go into the device settings to actually get that situated. But once that's situated, you know, you have the connection here, which should load my camera, but I have my camera off. But as you can see, it is right there. Yeah, and you could preview it. You could check if your microphone is actually recording or capturing audio from this bar right down here. And then once you could confirm that, you could go back here and then just begin recording. And then I provide a user UX that allows them to, you know, record portions of the video, pause it, think about what they're going to say. And if, you know, they want to continue recording clips, they can. And if they want to remove the last clip that they recorded, they could do that directly there too by using discard clip. And I have like cool little animations when they hover over, just to let them know like what's going to be affected, right? And then they could preview it at the end. And then all this is actually being transmitted via stream to the backend, the Rust backend, and processed and encoded using some web efficient encoding. Yeah, and all this is from so the backend is in Rust, regular Rust, and then the front end is using U, which is a Rust based framework, and it does compile into a WASM file. So you'll get some, once you compile like a project like this, you'll get something like this. You'll get like a WASM file. And then it's like a bunch of machine code that basically lines of JavaScript, well, not JavaScript, machine code that could be interpreted and then translated to something the browser could read. So yeah, right now I'm trying to get access control set up properly, so you know, prevent people from accessing like resources they shouldn't be accessing. Yeah, I mean, hard work, man. You just keep at it. You'll get inspired, and you'll be able to build stuff. You know, I believe anyone could do whatever they desire. Like, if they want to achieve something, they could put the time in and get it done. But let's refresh this just so we're now utilizing our WebSocket. And then another thing we implemented was the onboarding process. So basically we've went full circle and actually implemented. So the WASM file that I've been actually thinking about this. I need to research if it's possible to segment the WASM file in like sections. Like if someone accesses, let's say, a different portion of different section of the dashboard, it will utilize a different WASM, which is a lot smaller and could be, you know, chunked out into pieces. I have to see if that's possible and how, you know, how everything interconnects. I have to do that that initial research, but the file has been a bit small. Hasn't increased too much. It's about 4 megabytes, and I do have caching enabled on the server that I'm planning to use. So I'm assuming that the caching will, you know, allow you know, returning you know, customers to like manage your app fairly quickly without having to re-download anything. But that's definitely a concern that I think about, you know, as I'm building out this project for sure. So I also built this little guy. So if I were to, yeah, for a website, yeah, maybe. But for a dashboard, like a utility, you compare it to like Facebook Business Manager and Ad Manager. It's you know, it's pennies to the dollar, you know. But it is huge. It is huge. I mean, there's ways to minimize, you know, like gzip compression, server-side compression. But yeah, it definitely is. I won't tell you it's not. But I believe there has to be ways we could minimize that. Because I would assume you could break down yeah, but they have a waterfall effect, so they only load content as you scroll down the page, or we'll scroll down the page. Yeah. From what I've read, I started, just to give you a little context, I started my Rust journey about 62 days ago. So like the number on my stream title is exactly how many days I actually started. Like, that's the amount of days it took me to get to where I'm at now with my project, and the points of, you know, how long it took me to actually learn Rust. I'm still learning it, so, but I have a good grasp of it. Appreciate it, thank you. Let's actually do something real quick. Let's go to my test database. I think it depends on the person. I think if anyone, I literally I haven't stopped streaming non-stop for 62 days. I mean, I took 2 breaks, and like the weekends I spend like about 8 hours. Like, I'm wasting a lot of my time. Well, not wasting, I wouldn't say wasting, because I'm enjoying myself. It's really fun. But I put a lot of time in there. I think you just need to spend time in something and you learn it. And I do have experience programming as well. It is not my first time with the language. What is NLL? I don't know that abbreviation. NLL. See, I don't even know this exists. Hold on. Or by understanding what Lexel's lifetimes are. Oh yeah, lifetimes are. I'm still struggling with it. I'm still struggling with lifetimes. I still face some problems where I'm like, okay, what do I have to do? Do I have to reach out to an actor, or do I have to open up a service to send my information so I could digest it and ingest it somewhere else? I still struggle with that. I'm getting better though. I'm noticing I'm facing a lot less errors related to life cycles. Sure, yeah. Let's wrap everything in a few in the heap, right? Oh man. I got lucky. I got lucky because I mean, I feel like I faced that. I feel like I have to implement a lot of artificial code, quote unquote artificial code, to actually be able to keep a scope in scope for another context. Well, just for when I'm working with you, because I don't know, since we're working in the web, it's a lot different because there's web workers, and web workers is in like a different scope of everything else. So something cool I've implemented is the Stripe element object right here. So this is using Stripe's JavaScript library. I had to build a compatibility layer, which will allow me to digest and ingest responses from Stripe once events occur with this element. And since there's no real like integration to it via Rust, I had to like utilize like a custom event type and then scope everything within my local storage, like responses within my local storage, so I could, get error values, for the card, and then repurpose that and output that within the front end. Really cool experience though. Like you have to think differently. All right, so I have to figure out how I'm gonna scope this. Error. That's not a thing. What type of payment workflow are you implementing? Is it a subscription-based workflow, or is it a just a standard like numeric payment, like just a quantity and product? Got you. So I'm utilizing the card element. So this right here is a card element, and if you were to, let's see, card element Stripe. The payment element was kind of tricky to use because it appears I could only accept, I can't initiate subscription, even though let's see, sub. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm using the card elements and creating a start intent via Stripe, and then storing the card as a payment method within the user's account. And then as the payment is pushed to Stripe, I then use the default payment identifier provided by Stripe to actually associate it to the subscription and basically process the subscription. I mean, I think there's a place for everything. The file is a little bit larger than usual, But there has to be a way. You just have to think a little different, like outside the box. There has to be a way to segment your app in parts where, you know, you could chunk out like different like aspects of it. Like maybe there's a way to segment like feature sets, and then if a view only needs access to XYZ feature set, then you load that WASM file that implements those, you know. And there has to be a way to do that, because you're already loading one. There has to be a way to load multiple apps, and I think there is actually. Like if you were to go to a front end and look at the main Rust file, you know, so a little tip, DER, the device, a little tip is maybe try utilizing your local storage. I know it's, I want to add some encryption here, like some, so people can visually see what's going on here, but I've been utilizing the local storage as a means to actually receive and store the response from Stripe, the Stripe event for that card element. And then when I trigger my custom event, I then use that to display, you know, this error right here. But yeah, I would think you would be able to like create chunks, you know, create different WASM files that get loaded as you use the app. I would think. Like, cause my front end, let's see how big my front end is. No problem. Oh, I could just, whatever, I'll just save it because that'll give me an idea. Like this file, this WASM file is only 2 megabytes. That's like a general, regular size of a website. A standard website is around 2, and I pretty much have all the assets I'm planning to load within it. Yeah, you're right. I would have to do all. So total resources 11 megabytes. But that's other things. I think that's also loading like Stripe elements and stuff like that. Yeah, Stripe is like loading a whole mess of stuff. Yeah. But this is the guy we're looking for. What's the size? I don't know. It's so strange. Yeah. Error response. I'm glad, man. I mean, there's other frameworks too. Like if you're not if you're not really, use your objective, your objective decision making. Hold on, I just yeah, just be objective about it, and I mean, I went with this because this is the first one I saw. I think I saw it on Prime stream, and I'm like, yo, that's freaking awesome. And I was like, I've been tempted to try Rust, but there was no like real in for me. There wasn't really anything to entice me to do it, because I'm really web based. I like building web things, and it was just, there was nothing that brought that I knew. And then he did it on stream, and I was like, oh crap, that's freaking awesome. And I just started developing in it. I started building out like basic like folder structures, understanding how things get imported and all that stuff. Read up to chapter 9 of the Rust book, and then I just started building this. It was a crazy experience. In the back of the support widget is the gathering all the support requests and managing it. Yeah, so that's one part. There's going to be other aspects to it, but essentially it will allow the user, the company, to manage the information they're getting. Oh no worries. Yeah, I don't post anything on Twitter because I feel like I don't get any engagement. I'm like, I just post it and nothing happens. I'm like, okay. I do it once in a blue, but I don't really post there. The Rust bubble. Oh, true. I actually have like a dedicated tab within Twitter, like Twitter added spaces or something to it. That's, you could specify the topic you want it to relate to, and I actually have a Rust tab just for that, and a Vim one actually, because I just started using Vim as well. And Vim Tricks is very helpful in teaching you new little tricks that you can use. Error box error. I just don't know what type of error I need to send. Let's go back here. I think this is the way to go. I know how I could check. We're doing it here. Gotcha. Okay, so they're using error bad request. Sure. I'm working on access control, so I need to make sure that the people accessing the APIs, it's coming from, from the dashboard, and they have the appropriate access to it, because this platform is gonna be, there's gonna be multiple companies within the dashboard, and I don't want people to accidentally, quote unquote, quotes, be able to like update or approve, you know, things that are not part of their account. Oh, no worries. I'm just trying to understand how Actix handles error responses, and I know I could create a custom one, but for something like this, I don't want to. I just want to use something that they standardly use. What the hell? Actix, yeah, we'll do that one right there. Error. So they're bringing this in, but they're not using error here. Oh, there you go. I thought I was bringing that in though. I don't need none of the other stuff. Alright. So that did the trick. That's the easy way of just saying bad request. They probably also have like invalid access. Let's see. Unauthorized. Yeah, this is perfect. Oh boy, yeah, 3 a.m. man. Catch some Z's. Appreciate it, man, and I'm glad you enjoyed the stream. All right, so we're shooting out an error now, so this should now break when we. Is that to the device leads or to me? Oh, okay. Ah, nice. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. Cool. I don't know how you guys could do it, man. 3 a.m. Like, I'm about to call it a day in the next hour. It's not healthy, man. You need that brain power, man. That's what helps you get through the hard problems. Full-time? No. So weekends I do between like 12 p.m. Eastern to all the way to like 9 p.m. Eastern, depending on how much energy I have. And then on weekdays I do between like 5 p.m. to like 9-ish Eastern. I don't do it voluntarily. Is that what you said? That's what you meant? I stream because I like it. I feel like I meet cool people, like-minded people that, you know, talk about tech like how we are talking about it. Oh. So the trick is to drink a large glass of milk or something warm before going to bed. And then turn off all the lights. I mean, try it. I mean, it's not for everyone. I know a few people that have tried it, but it's just too much for them. They just have too much going on in their life. No problem, the device. Or beer, if you're old enough. That always makes me drowsy. I mean, but you live in the EU, so I know the drinking age there is pretty low. Yeah, I actually stopped drinking alcohol at the beginning of this year as well. I'm like, I'm getting too old. It's fun, but it's not fun the next day. So, yeah. It's ingrained in your blood, man. Testme.co. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. No. I use the library, the CSS. This is not UI. All this UI. I could show you a little glimpse. So I like building out my own UI. I just feel like using like UI libraries. I'm not opposed, so I don't hold any grudges or any resentment against anyone that uses it. I'm not here to do that. But I like building my own type of like designs. So like if I can have the chance to do that, I will do that. I just feel like UI libraries, it's very opinionated, and you kind of have to follow their aesthetic. Like I remember when Angular, Google Materials came out, like every single like platform or like web app looked like a Google app, and it was just like everything is the same. So like I try not to use those type of yeah, it won't be. I mean, I might open like small things. Like I feel like the Stripe element aspects of like the Stripe integration, like the compatibility layer is really cool, and I think the open source community who also build web apps will find that very useful. So I might open source that part of it. And there is like I don't know how useful it is, but I created a form builder that basically ingests a structure. Like you basically provide a structure with all the properties you need, and you wrap it. Like for instance, I mean, again, it's what you're most comfortable with. Like if you're not very strong in that aspect, then use a UI library. Like I don't think it matters. Oh, here we go. So I created this form builder that its only job is to take in a struct and build out a HTML form. So for instance, this right here is generated using a form of my form builder. and it'll basically build out the HTML, the DOM, the virtual DOM, and allow me to hook into the on submit and on change events, right? So I created like callbacks, closures that will then reach out to the parent component that called in and allow me to associate like functions to it. So like I created on submit and on change events that will basically communicate with the parents, and I normalized the objects, the structures into a hash map, so you could use it with anything. And then it kind of utilizes Sardate JSON to serialize those objects the way it needs. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, there's still missing components. Like I don't think I've implemented drop downs properly yet. The functionality is there, but I haven't implemented it yet. I've also implemented like form validation. Like there's an example. Like I might open source this because I feel like this is something someone will find useful. I mean, it's not pretty. I didn't code it with like any sort of structural intent. But where are we? View, get started. So this is an example. So this is the form object. So basically this is the structure, the struct that I'm building, which includes name, email, password, and confirm password. And I'm basically taking labels, a validator, and validation rules. The validator takes validation rule types, and then in the validation rule you have between comparing or using regular expression. And basically you could give it a regular expression and it will basically determine like whether it matches or not, or like basic stuff like that. Appreciate the follow. The device, I have to remember that. I started using, thanks for the follow, Just. I started using GraphQL. I ended up using Postgres, and I created my own DBase database service wrapper that allows me to build like the query just using Rust types. I started this project, just to let you guys know, I started this project to learn Rust, and like learn the ins and outs. And I probably did unconventional things. Like I know there's probably like libraries and crates out there that could implement this a lot better than I could have, but this helped me, understand like the language a little bit more, like learn, matches, enumerators, like I don't know, I built all this just because I wanted to, but it's probably not good practice. And this has to change. This has to be pulled from my configuration. Yeah, I saw it and I really like that one too. Like I did my initial research and I didn't see anything that looked like how I... What's up? Yikes, Darnell. I thought about it. I started using Go. It just didn't feel fun to me. I know it's really easy to write. I just didn't really... I don't know. I didn't like it. It's not a bad language. A lot of people stand behind it and support it. And I'm all for that. How's things going, Darnell? My biggest challenge in Rust: ownership and life cycles, or you could say concurrency. I always repeat those. Those have been my biggest hurdles. I finally got a grasp of it, so I'm pretty excited. I was having a hard time implementing GraphQL. Like, it just wasn't playing right with me. I may have to, like, look into it a little bit further. Tokyo tracing, what is that? Yeah, it just feels so fun to write. I don't know how to explain it. I literally sit at work, you know, like maintaining other projects. Like, damn, I wish I could write this in Rust. Like, I just want to freaking code in Rust all day. It's freaking crazy. Rust tracing, structure, application level diagnostic. Oh, this is interesting. Is this what you're referring to, device? Yeah, exactly. You don't even think about it. I still run into those issues, I'm not gonna lie. But when I resolve it, I'm like, yeah, that felt good. Master branch. I may have to implement this. Really? Does it support like services like LogRocket? Rocket. Interesting. Yeah, that's really helpful. Because if I launch this, I want to know what's going on in the back end. Let me save this on my main repo. Yes, that's pretty awesome. Appreciate that, device. And you mentioned open telemetry. Is that open source, similar to like LogRocket, but just free? Tempo, Loki, but not sure I would recommend it. It's not bad, but also has pitfall. Cool. This is all good information. This is going to be really helpful. Cool. Oh, crap. No. I'm just gonna write all, quit. The device. Didn't you say you were gonna go to bed? I got you. Oh, that was you with the follow. I was wondering what that was. For sure. I won't dox you. I won't say your real name. Have a good night. Darnell, are you still there? Are you starting to learn Rust? Alright, so we have our service. We're grabbing our claim. That's awesome, man. I hear a lot of really good things about it. And there's a large community. One library I've you know, a few people I know have mentioned have been Jin Go Lang. That's like similar to the Actix library I'm using, the crate. And it just handles like requests and allow you to build out your API the way you need it. This guy right here, I hear a lot of good things. They're also saying like performance wise it's pretty good. No worries. Appreciate the follow. Codename Project X. I need to figure out how I'm gonna structure this. What the hell? Draw.io. Okay. Preference. Properties. Where's view? Extra. Interesting. Is that like a boot camp of some sorts? Properties, no. All extras, themes, dark. All right, there we go. So we have the request, we have our auth layer, we have our access control, we have our service we have our service. Gotcha. Are you still with Intuit? Did you recently hear Facebook is introducing Rust for their anything related to CLIs? Things in the tech sphere are changing. It's pretty cool. Client requests. Auth. Yeah, it's pretty wild, yeah. I think developers, like new developers, are gonna love it because it's. I don't know what it is. I always say this. It's very hard to pinpoint exactly what it is, but it's just it feels very fun to write. Like that's all I can explain. Like there's a lot of things about it that's really great. Like garbage collection that you don't even have to think about. You know, you might think about it in the beginning because you're learning it, but like after the fact, you just write it. You don't have to worry about garbage collection. It feels magical. Like it feels like crap. Why didn't this exist before? Auth. And then we have here our access control. Our access control. Authenticator. Access control. Controller. I just need to visually see this flow. And then service. Oh no, I would not compare Rust to Python at all. I've never written a line of Swift in my life. I wouldn't compare it with Python, but I would compare it to Go. Like Go, it's I believe an easier barrier to entry, and then Rust is yeah, exactly, just. And unless you write like web-based code, then you always have to worry about runtime errors. You never have to worry about compilation errors, but you have to worry about runtime errors if you're working with a web-based project. So we have services here, our access control. Well, use unwrap if you're certain if you're certain that variable has to be available at that point. I say use unwrap. But like if I'm uncertain, like if the person tries something malicious, then I'll wrap that in a let if or a match. But for sure, probably could like double think unwrap. Like think about it for sure. Service. So I need to be able to pass accounts. We're just gonna label it account ID for now. Role. So we're dealing with these two objects here. I would love, there's a database layer within my service, which is bi-directional. Oh boy. That's not the arrow I want. That's disgusting. Bi-directional. I would love to be able to push these properties directly to my database services without having to constantly instantiate those objects just to check. So my controller for sure is going to have those properties, but my device, my services isn't. I wonder if I can instantiate or set an attribute to my service methods that could kind of identify what type of roles and what accounts could access it. Oh boy. All right, let's see what we have here. So we have our controller. Authentication, access control, our controller, and we essentially will pass that directly here. Rust. You know what I could do? I kind of want to imitate what Derive does in Rust. Let's see how they handle that. How Rust handles that. Oh, it's built in. But shouldn't I be able to... I know what that does. Attributes. An attribute is a metadata applied to some module, crate, or item. The metadata can be used for conditional compilation code, disable lint, enable compiler feature, link foreign libraries, mark function as unit tests. Can't take arguments. But is it accessible within the scope of a struct? Rust access attributes from struct function. Field access expression. I don't know if I'm using the right terminology for this. Attributes. Oh, it's a Medium article. Right way to have function pointers and structs. This is not useful at all. Custom. Recently been stabilized. It seems. Oh, that is right. I could use a macro. That's true. Yeah, I could totally use a macro for this, I believe. True attributes. Tool attributes. So I think what I want to use is a macro. I think a macro is the ideal use case for this. But I thought macros, let's check. Macros, Rust. Attribute use structure and Neovim. I could use a macro to bring those attributes into scope. Yeah, I could totally do that. Temp vect, push X. X is the expression, and then the output it. Give me another example. Rust code as syntax tree. That's one use case right there. But I like the ability to use it on the function level. All right, how to write a custom drive macro. Function named hello macro, rather than making our create user implement them hello macro trade. All right, I think I have a good understanding of how I'm gonna approach this. I'm gonna probably use a macro. I don't know, this is not very, it doesn't explain too much. Well, no, it explains a lot, but it just doesn't explain what I wanted to explain, or if it's even capable of doing it. Let's check Rust by example. Macros. Overloading, repetition. It's a string along with the, okay. Expression, where are they pulling expression from? Have a good night, Nornell. Have a good one. Yikes, Darnell. Combinations of arguments in that regard to a match block. And this. Oh, okay. Find min. So recursion. Got it. Don't repeat yourself, okay. I want to see a macro for a struct. I think I already passed the macros. Yep. Alright, I'm probably gonna do a little research on my off time to see how I could implement this. But I think this is a good place to stop. I have an idea. I didn't do too much programming this stream, but I have an idea of what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna do it. We just need to implement that access control. That's one of the main priorities for now. I appreciate everyone joining. I hope everyone had a great time. I will be back tomorrow around the same time, maybe a little earlier this time. But yeah, let's see if there's anyone we could raid. I think we're gonna go with Midnight. All right, everyone, have a good one. Deuces.